you can see, his little boy is here, and he is going to share with us a glimpse into change through taking responsibility of our emotions and really getting down to the basics. So, join me in welcoming Burt.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
wow, how cool is she? That's it. You know, talk about being a change agent, right? She sees this need or a desire in the community, and she's moved to make this happen. And she just recounted so many of the values that I'm trying to bring through myself, in our family. Kara is my partner here. Carlos, my son. Lena is my new daughter, adopted daughter. With Bela and Nanda, these are roommates of ours in our new home. Wow. These are my notes. These are going away. These have like no meaning, no relevance here. And I'm excited because, not just excited, I'm anxious because there's this thing that I want to convey that when I got it, it made just a profound difference in my life as far as how I moved through the world, how I experienced everything. It made it possible for me to experience serenity and peace, and made it easy for me to hold on to that. It's inspired me to move with confidence, knowing that I'm going to be able to deal with whatever comes up in life. And for me, in my opinion, that's like one of the best things that I can do to help usher in change. If I am going to be a little less reactive because I've got my baggage going on, or if I can just maybe move a little slower while other people are in their motion, maybe I can help things progress. Maybe I can help things be filled with the love and the peace that we're all longing for and living in and valuing. That's where my anxiety comes, because I have that. I've been shown that. Enough people have helped me to experience that for myself that I wish everybody could have it. And I don't always know how to convey it. But when Betsy made this invitation, I knew that, you know, there's a saying, a lot of different people, I was finding these quotes where fundamentals are important. You can't really move into great expression and mastery of like arts, creativity, music. You can't really play with a lot of openness and assurance unless you've got these fundamentals in place, right? I mean, you can be reckless and courageous and adventurous, and I was definitely that when I was younger. But what I came to realize is that that recklessness wasn't sustainable, and it was hurting me, and it was hurting the people that I was trying to have relationships with, because I didn't have ground. I didn't have a place that I felt really secure. So that's what I'm trying to talk about. How can we find that place of groundedness and assuredness in ourselves? And what I've come to see is that a lot of us, well, I grew up without a clear education on how to be emotional. I don't know how many men in particular can relate to being a little gun-shy about being emotional, showing some sensitivity, showing some weakness, showing some confusion or awkwardness. Boy, that was exactly why I was a wallflower when I was a teenager. I was so scared completely that I didn't want to take the chance of being awkward in front of somebody. And the reason for that is I so desperately needed somebody to be okay with me, because I wasn't with myself. I didn't have it. It wasn't shown to me. There were some experiences in my life that I lost trust, I lost faith, I lost confidence, I lost that sense of safety. So we're talking a lot about having a container. And I'm going to just presume that this container that Betsy has fostered is a safe place where I can tell you all about what's going on with me, and hopefully I'm willing to show you my vulnerability, show you the parts of me that are tender and sensitive, and be okay with that because we've got this container, we've got this sense of safety. There's an assumption, an unspoken agreement that we're going to be okay with each other. We're going to accept one another. We're not going to be judgmental and go, oh wow, he was weak, he was nervous, he was anxious. He's less of than whatever. He's less a man. Like how can he be a dad to this beautiful child? Yeah. So it comes down to this. I have to be okay with myself first. I've owned that. This is what I've come to believe. I've owned that my sense of safety and peace is my responsibility. If I put it in your hands without taking care of it first, that's challenging, and I found that it didn't work for me. I gave that to my ex. I needed my ex to absolutely accept me and be okay with me and love me even when I was an ass. And she couldn't. She was human. She had her own, responses and reactions to me being, thoughtless or insensitive. So I'm definitely not talking about being callous. I'm not talking about hardening myself and being rigid and being like strong like steel that never moves. What I'm talking about, which Kara reminded me about, is being fit and in good condition. When we do that, when we use that analogy of being physically fit, what does that mean? We can be strong when we want to be. We can be flexible when we want to be, right? We can expand, we can move freely and not hurt ourselves because we've taken care of those points of tension, or we've kind of learned to extend ourselves a little bit more. And maybe we've practiced with some skills in yoga or martial arts or surfing or cycling, and we use these skills and these activities to improve our fitness so that we're capable of doing more, right? So that we can walk around in confidence and say, oh yeah, if I've got to run to catch that bus, no problem. I can do that in my sleep. If I have to move that car to save that little badger or squirrel, I can do it. I know I can because I've been working my ass off in the weight room, right? You get this sense of confidence because you've practiced, you've worked this, and you are clear about what you're capable of doing. So I'm going to suggest to you that we be sure that we can do that in our emotional selves. Because I can tell you that what I've gained is the ability to be really okay if one of you is totally angry. I can be really okay if one of you is incredibly broken and hurt and afraid and untrusting. I can be really okay with that. I can have compassion, I can have empathy. And I don't have to overreact because that scares me, because that experience is unsettling or unfamiliar. That's the part of the work that I've done, is to practice being emotional in myself, to practice experiencing and witnessing and holding that emotional space for others. What's that about?
Being totally okay, and he's totally okay with the children and the space that they're taking up. Right?
Yeah. Because here's what I've come to believe. When I do this in myself, and I'm okay with shit going south without freaking out myself, I get to experience more of life. Oh. When we were driving down here, and our entire household was just kind of talking about how cool is this that we get together and build and foster community by getting to know each other a little bit more. Oh, I'm taking my turn. I'm letting you get to know me a little bit more, and I hope to get to know each of you more. That's the most precious thing to me in life, right? I mean, so what if I get really good at programming, which I am? So what if I get better at my martial arts, which I'm working on? That's like exercise, that's activity. But to get to know you and what's important to you, for you being willing to tell me, what an honor that I would be worthy of you sharing your innermost self. That's important to me. That's vitally important. Okay, so, like I said, these are gone. The reason this is so important to me is because I believe a lot of people, maybe some of us, a lot of people are moving through this world in fear because they don't think they have enough, that they are not enough, that they need something outside of themselves because they've lost trust. They've lost that sense of safety within themselves. At the very least, what I want to assure you of is that you can each absolutely have that sense of safety in yourself. If you don't have it, there are so many people around here that can help you find it. I'd be willing to as well. I don't do this professionally, but you can do this. And then when you have that, you can walk into, you can move in your relationships with confidence, knowing that you're not going to break if your partner has something tragic or horrific or extreme happen. And you can even be extreme in front of your partner and know that they're going to be okay because you're taking responsibility for yourself. So, running out of time, let's just say this. Check your perceptions. Make sure you hear somebody clearly. Make sure that you really understand what somebody is saying and use the mirroring technique, whatever, just to make your reflection, you know. Make sure that you hear somebody really clearly before you have your emotional reaction. Because a lot of times we're flipping out because we heard something poorly or inaccurately. And if you can do that, if you can just clarify your perceptions and then have whatever emotional response you have, then maybe you can make a better choice for your action. And maybe it'll come from that place of loving, generosity, kindness, peace. Maybe that's where you can move from. Thank you.